Good afternoon, tribe. Today is Friday, November the 28th, the day after Thanksgiving in 2025. My birthday. I just turned 55 years old. The year of constant change, constant transformation. On 11/11. That's, yes, in 1971, a very long time ago. Yes, that makes me a Gen Xer, and it also makes me a very fortunate individual. So blessed in so many ways. I didn't always feel that way, though. It took a long time to get here. And I am truly and ultimately grateful to the Most High God for the gift of being me. I want to thank my mom and dad. That was a thing. And if anyone had known me the same year that I met my husband, now 30 years together, this year, in 1996, I was a different person completely, and thank God he saw the light in me. And I don't know if he loved me as truly, madly, deeply in that moment that I loved him. But I was really in a bad place. Like, God couldn't have brought me my 30-year marriage husband in at the wrong time, at least by my opinion back then. I was in a really, really, really dark place. And God said, nope. I'm going to send a jokester your way. He was not meant to, I don't think, to, or perhaps he was, to be my truly, madly, deeply. But regardless, he helped to change and transform me into the beautiful soul that I am today. And I am just really grateful to him too. We've given each other a lot of trouble. We've given each other a lot of love and a lot of beautiful experiences. Some bad ones too. But yeah, I'll never regret diving in so deep and staying as long as I have with him. I didn't really like him at first, but now we're kind of friends more than we are lovers, and so that makes it easier. Now that our kids are all grown, we have, oh my God, like 8 or 9 grandkids. I lost track. And life can still be stressful, but I woke up today knowing that I am the change that the world needed. I am always in a perpetual state of it, and it's up to me whether it's on the incline or the decline. Cause and effect is real. What you put out does come back to you, even if it doesn't feel like it for decades. I am just so freaking blessed. And so I want to honor the change that I have become, that I bring forth, that I give to the world. I share with everyone. I honestly, I can walk into a room and everybody's look on their face will change. Now, if that's all the only little significance that I have in their world, that's perfect, because at least they have taken a different look, a different perspective, a different way of viewing a person. Because I can be rather intimidating, or I can just be, rather quiet. It just depends. And then each individual shifts and changes in their own way around me. And it's just such a freaking delight to know that I have that kind of an impact in the world. And I feel responsible to make it a good one. If nothing else, after seeing this post, perhaps you too will embrace the change that is the only constant in your life. Okay, so in honor of that version of me, that old version of me, that she passed away. She's gone. She died a long time ago. So I finally have been, in just the last 5 years, I think, maybe 7 years, I've given birth to the newer, higher, more beautiful version of me. Wrinkles, scars, and all. I adore being this age. I don't dread it at all. But I want to honor the original Christy. So I'm going to have a memorial for her. And we're going to do a little bit of a healing ceremony. I use lots of different crystals, some candles, and some art stuff that I work with my hands with. I'm a huge fanatic of fairies and elves and gnomes, and so I have an obsession, and I create these little pieces of art, these sculptures. Anyways, I've incorporated them into my little bit of a healing ritual that I do. It's kind of more or less that I play with my toys as I meditate and contemplate on the next beautiful moments that are going to unfold, and how I can manifest and create a better world around me with my intentions every single day. If I wake up and I complain, I'm going to get a day to complain about. If I wake up and just be so delighted that my freaking back hurts and I am standing up and oh my God, I just got that kink out of it, because I did that. And thank you, God, for giving me a backache, because it made me get out of bed and do something fun today. I can find a reason to be grateful every time instead of complaining. Although, for some reason, kind of a funny, haha, joke, God, but at 55, you can go to sleep and wake up very injured and not know what happened. So, use your caution. I have a feeling it's not going to stay that way forever, though. I really do. I've been practicing a lot of my healing rituals and my intentions and such, and I think that it's gonna cause a massive shift, not just with me, but within my family, within the vicinity around me. There is a reason to hope. When I met my husband, I felt like I wanted to die every single day. I hated the universe. I hated the world. I hated God. I did not want to be alive anymore. I felt like I had a death wish for several years. I had endured a lot of abuse throughout my childhood, throughout many relationships, and by the time I met him at 29 years old, or something like that, I can't remember exactly, I didn't see any reason to hope. I hadn't seen any light in a long time from anybody. And I had forgotten all along that there was a beautiful, bright, shining sun light. It's like popping right out of my chest. I wasn't even thinking about, because I was in despair. There had been a lot going on in my world, and I had been addicted to some pretty hard drugs. And he gave me a reason to laugh. I mean, it wasn't anything major. It's not like we sat for hours and talked about stuff. No, he took those moments of true despair that I was in, and he would find the stupidest, corniest jokes to make. And I was like, oh my God, and my eyes would roll, and he would get a half a smile out of me. But after doing that for a few weeks, I started to notice the difference. I never complained. I just, corny joke, whatever, roll my eyes, move on. But it started to affect me. It started to have a massive, magical effect on me. And here I am now. I really don't know how I survived all these years. I really don't. Because I've been through it. If the world wasn't putting me through it, I was putting myself through it. And so we made it. So I want to honor and give the old me, the one that died so long ago, a beautiful happy memorial, and then we're gonna meet the new me, and I'll give you guys a chance to watch this video thoroughly, and then I'm gonna end it, and then I'm gonna start another one. It'll be a reading for the collective. So if you view this one first, I just want you to know that we are a tribe, we are family, and we are loved. We belong, and we are never alone. So come back for your reading, because if you're an underdog, if you're a black sheep, if you're one that was just too loud, too much, too everything all the time, know that it was not you ever. What it was, and this is not out of ego, I want you to own this. The rest of them that complained about how too much we were, they just probably weren't enough to handle it. And we prayed for them, and we send them love and light, and we just know how strong we are because of it. So if you have anything in you that resonated with that message, you come back here for the next video for your reading. All right. And you know, in this family, in this tribe, we're all royalty. We all have a right and a reason to celebrate our greatness. So I want to show you guys this is my, hold on, let me just flip the camera around 1 second, if it'll let me. It's not going to let me. Okay, I'll do it this way. So this is my bed, and this is mid-afternoon. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. But I just got this, I'm like, I'm going to have a funeral. It's not a funeral, it's a memorial. All right, so I've got just a bunch of things laid out here, and I just wanted you guys to see what it looked like in the dark because it's so pretty. And that's where I sleep, and I lay in my head every night. Unfortunately, my husband and I have properties in 2 different states now, so we don't sleep together in the same bed. We haven't for quite some time. He has a very highly successful job who has kept him traveling a lot. And for about the last 10 years or so, we've had to keep separate homes. We see each other a lot, and we're still together. It's just, sometimes this bed feels like just a really sad place to be. And I didn't want it to become like a coffin kind of thing. I wanted it to be honored. And so it is. And now I'm going to turn the light on so that we can do our crystal healing session. And hopefully you guys can be patient with me as I get my camera, continue to get my camera set up. My eyes. All right, the candle's got to go out because I don't want to catch myself on fire while I do this. Thank you, fire fairies. Oh, that fire spirit was feisty. Got a little passion going on. You know, that says something. If you are watching this and you have fire in your chart, or you're a fire sign, or you have, like me, a fire sign spouse, the fire in them, the passion in them is about to be reignited. They don't know it yet. They can sense it, but they don't know it yet. And when that passion is fully reignited inside of them, you, or if it's you will suddenly understand and remember what it is that you love so much about yourself. And we all have to go through periods where we have to really, really take moral inventories of ourselves and just decide what it is of ourselves we want to keep and what parts of us we want to get rid of so that we become better versions. And this doesn't just happen once or twice. This happens often throughout your life, especially if you have to work with other humans who judge and who make mistakes and who are imperfect. Because, of course, we would never make those kind of mistakes. No, I'm just kidding. That was bullshit. Okay. So, yeah, you're going to get unapologetically unfuckwithable I know who the fuck I am today, Christy, who tells all the what ifs to fuck the fuck off, because I am a child of God all day, every day, and I am here to remind you who the fuck you are too. Okay? And so we'll just take all the F words out now. Bring it back down a notch. All right. So, you can see I made these. These are hand sculptured little moons. I was obsessed with moon phases, and I saw everyone buying these, and I was like, those look so inauthentic. And I wanted to make real looking like moons. They look like actual moon. Like the cheese. I wanted it to be authentic, so it is. And it's kind of a cool background for the moon goddess. One of them. Okay. So you should know, and I'll say a prayer here in a moment, that I am a highly spiritual being, living in a human body, doing the very best I can, not to get infiltrated or disillusioned by misinformation or other people's stories that don't belong to me. And I've always been a believer in the Most High God. I do have the namesake of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I am Christy, and I spell it the same way he did, with a Y on the end. And I own that name as much as possible. So, Jesus was not a perfect human. He made mistakes, and unfortunately, they didn't write those down. If they did, they didn't tell us they were mistakes. They glossed it all over, like, he's perfect. Follow him, walk his way. Well, all you way showers, you star seeds, you shadow walkers, you know very well that one cannot know just how bright one's light is until one has walked through the darkness. That means that you have to know that part of you that's human. And isn't that why we're here? Spirits having a human experience. It's because it's fun here, right? Okay, it's hard to find the fun when you're my age. It's hard to find the fun in the world today. And so we're going to have some fun today. All right, here we go. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a demonstration of some of my art, because the art goes a long way towards the healing. Remember, there are all elements within all of these items. They all have a little bit of my Dana on them, my DNA, because I made them. They got my hand and my skin cells on them. So it's very personal to me. I feel like sometimes, and a lot of this is crystals, so that high frequency, high vibration, it brings it to life. These things are alive. They're not things. They're sacred items of worship. And I do pray to the Most High God right here, right now, in this moment. I ask our Most High God, the one true source of all that is, to bring in true perspective of 100% unconditional love, purity, forgiveness, understanding, compassion, and any of your prophets, disciples, who you could bring forth at this time, along with our ancestors, our guides, our angels, our Passover loved ones, those who support us, who are in the unseen, who are always around us. I ask you, bring us all forth together in our big, big family tribe and experience this journey back to wholeness with us today. And so it is. Okay, sorry about that. I had to backtrack and do the prayer. I forgot. And anyway, so there is a lot of stuff here that represents different phases of life that I had gone through as a younger woman. And then also as I'm becoming this, almost 60-year-old, freaking me out, but I'm okay. I'm making it through. All right, so this is the reading right here. This is where the card reading is. I've already spread it out, so this is just a teaser. You can come back for the reading for that. But what I know is that every one of us has broken pieces. We all have broken pieces. So today, I ask that we call in the mother. You may say Mary Magdalene. You may say Mary, Mother of God. You may say Gaia. You may say Isis. You may even say another goddess's name. However, she is the goddess. She is the mother, the nurturer, the life giver, the one who bore us, who through unbearable pain, she tread the road less traveled and gave us life. And so it is to her, whatever mother goddess you pray to or you believe in. Remember all that she has sacrificed so that you can be here. And now in this moment, I would like for you to imagine, just for one moment, imagine that your heart has a big giant red laser coming out of it, okay? And that giant red laser is pointed down into the center of the earth. If you need to go outside and sit on the ground and do that, you can do that. Take this visualization with you. It's a very important part of my practice. I just imagine this bright red laser shooting either out my butt, out my feet, whatever it is that I feel that makes me connect to the earth, to really ground and center, to remember that I am nurtured and loved and everything that I need is always right here whenever I need it, because this is an abundant, beautiful planet. And as I connect to her and I imagine the red laser just penetrating the ground and it's going deeper and deeper into the earth until finally it reaches the center of Gaia and it touches her heart. Her heartbeat is so big and powerful. And the instant it does, she recognizes me as her child in that moment and she sends it right back to me. It's this laser beam of motherly love that we share that grounds me, that helps her to transmute things that humans aren't able to. And in that moment, I'm able to be fully filled, just fully filled, because I can feel her heartbeat come back. And then it's like my heartbeat syncs up with hers, and I am one with the Gaia. It really gives you a sense of wholeness. It is how I see you. Truly, whole, holy, wholeness. I see you. Okay. And she sees us. She feels every step we take. She knows what we're doing just as much as the Most High does. Because we are all one. You might not remember it, but I do. And it's kind of really hard not to know that everything and everyone is connected and we are all one and no one gets left behind. No one. They tried to scare us. They tried to take the human part out of religion, out of spirituality, and labeled it religion. They tried to control our connection to the Most High, to whatever it was that was bigger than us, that made us feel important. Some of us, we just never took no for an answer. We're going to pray to God. We're going to meet God where God's trying to meet us. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to conform. We're not going to listen to what you have to say. Now, that being said, there's a lot of things they didn't lie about. Because, the best way to control people is give them some strong moral fiber to act right. That's what the Ten Commandments are about. And I just want to say that with all ascended masters, I honor and love the energy you bring forth and the leadership you give to those who follow you. They want to be more like you. And I ask that you give them grace and blessings each and every day. And Most High, please look over those who still have no direction and don't believe in a source, in a God, to protect them and love them. I mean, there's so many people out there who just don't believe in anything they can't see. And I'm just here to say that there is everything 10 times more than what you can imagine in the unseen. There is. I know it. It's a fact. Our souls are eternal, and we always come back because no one gets left behind. We do this again and again for each and every family member until we get them all. That's why we're so tired. And, there comes a time when you have to love and choose to love yourself first. And if you never get to that point, you will stay lost, wandering in the desert until you remember God created you in his image and he lives inside your heart. You ask Jesus to come in your heart. God lives inside of you. This is where God is. This is God's vehicle, is an expression, as the unique version of him is you. We are all one true source. We are all one God. So thank you for being here. As a demonstration in honor of my ancestors, I bring forth these amazing crystal black obsidian carved crystal crows. I mean, they're so incredible. So my family is Native American. We are Cherokee of the Crow clan. When we were Americanized, our family line was forced to change. Well, they were forced to have first and last names, which just blew their minds. I did interview some of my elders before they passed, so I know what they went through. And so to give us a last name, so Crow turned out to be our last name, right? And, so they did not approve, the Americanized government did not approve, that wasn't wide enough. It was not going to help us to conform and integrate into the new society that was taking over this country. And so they changed the spelling of the last name, and my great-great-grandparents at the time, actually it was my great-great-great, 3 greats, grandparents at the time had 2 very, very young baby boys, like 3 and 1. And none of their names were anything close to assimilating, So they renamed their 2 boys George Washington and Benjamin Franklin Crows. Yes, they made us change the spelling of the crow because it was just too much, so it's Crows. If you ever hear or see the name Crows, you know where it came from. Now, if you do know anything about spirit animals, the crow is the most magnificent, deeply mysterious, powerful, mystical spirit animal there is, and he's always surprising me with something new. I've had several real-life encounters with crow. And it's just like, this is one of the most powerful, magical things that I could say that I have in my life is the crow symbolism, the crow spirit guide. It really has helped more than I can even explain to bring me back into myself. Because being born on 11/11, let's just talk about that for a second. Being born on 11/11, I mean, dude, if you didn't know anything about 11/11 5-10 years ago, okay. But today, everybody knows about 11/11. And I've been literally sharing my birthday with veterans my whole life. And so now I'm the guardian of a threshold. I'm a gateway keeper. This whole, do you know how many people out there make songs about 11/11? I'm just going to take it off. It makes songs about 11/11, have special ceremonies and spells, and it's a thing. A bunch of people are naming themselves that, calling them, and none of them, not a single one of these artists and these creators have my frickin' birthday. because it's the coolest birthday out there. But I'm a little biased. But it is the coolest birthday in the world. Okay? Let's just say that. And being 11/11, 1971, I have 6 ones. 6 ones. 6 ones in my birthday. It makes me a very unique creature. I really am intrigued every single time I pull my chart and I read it and I look and I study it. I learn something new every single time. As a matter of fact, 11/11 is that mysterious crow energy thing. You can dig into it. Just try it. A little research. If 11/11 is a synchronicity that you resonate with, it happens to you a lot. Every time it does, promise yourself you'll go and deep dive and study and learn something new about 11/11. I'm telling you, you will never run out. There is always going to be something new to learn and understand about the number 11/11. It is not an accident that God put me here on this earth on that day. I'm a Master 11. I'm a Master 22. I'm a Life Path 4. I married a Master 33. None of those things are accidents. None of them. The numbers, the numerology, the vibration, the frequency of those numbers. You know, they might not mean anything to someone on the surface. It's just a symbol, right? Wrong. It spells out precisely, almost moment by moment, how my life is going to unfold. And I didn't see it until, like, this week. I know, right? Okay, well, to give you a little context, I had a massive spiritual awakening back in 2018, April 18th, 4/18. I hate that day. I hate April. April and August are, okay, I don't hate them. I strongly, I don't like that word either. I strongly dislike the month of April and August because 4 and 8 are difficult numbers for me to vibrate with. Because what they are is the core vibration of who I am as a Life Path 4. And also the full destiny manifestation of abundance. So 4 and 8, fate and destiny. And so they test me the most. So every year around April and August, I'm prepared. I get prepared the month before, and I'm going to warn everybody I'm going to be a little weird and snappy and crazy, and stuff's going to go down. Well, in 2018, it definitely went down. I had a massive Kundalini rising event. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Do your own research. I almost checked myself into a mental hospital. It was that profound. It felt like, almost like I had taken a giant dose of LSD or mushrooms. I mean, it was incredible. And it didn't just last for 12 hours. It was like a 4 or 5 day long event. And it is an event. If you know anything about the Kundalini energy, it rises up the spine and it awakens you and opens your third eye and connects your chakras come online. And it's part of your evolution, right? Wrong. That's not what I had at all. And whoever does have that slow, beautiful, natural experience, I'm so happy for you. But for those very rare few of you out there who've had this lightning strike at the base of your spine, and then nothing in your life has ever been the same, then you probably had a Kundalini rising event. I can now no longer stand to be in the presence of lies or illusion. I have a very, very difficult time going into any store because basically every product in there is, there's a few exceptions. Every product in every store is based on corporate lies and marketing. Every human standing in line to purchase things is wearing a mask or some kind of illusion just so they can get by and get through being out in public. So many sensitive people out there should not be going and subjecting themselves to those kinds of things unless they know how to protect their energy, because it can really shut you down. I watched Sage, my husband, a lot. He's kind of going through it right now. I want to call it his dark night of the soul. And I can see it. He's aged a lot. And that's not what God intended. No, not at all. It's the lower frequencies that are getting to us that we're not honoring and taking care of our physical bodies. We're working and doing too much effort and not just being still with our toys and enjoying life. All right, so I'm going to move on, but remember, don't forget to go back and check your 11/11 research, because I'm the cool 11/11 chick. Everybody can call themselves that, but they wasn't born that day. All right, and then, okay, so one thing that I said, protect your energy, one thing that I made sure I did was, see them? Can you see the little, where is it at? There it is. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that set of eyeballs. Do you see them? Okay, that's I have a whole handful of them, charms of these eyeballs to ward off the evil eye. It's a really symbolic way of reminding you that you are always divinely guided, protected, orchestrated in each and every way. Every part of your day and every part of your life, God has a plan. And if you can trust that plan and have that relationship with the Most High, you will never have doubt, and you will never be affected by evil eyes or curses. That's what makes me unfuckwithable. But that doesn't mean that everyone feels that way. And it doesn't mean that everyone's ready for that yet. And so I like to transform into many different versions of me to remind myself that I've been through phases. I didn't come out able to talk like this about it. I really felt like I was going insane. My reality began to deconstruct in the middle of standing in line at Walgreens. I was about to buy a package of medicine, and I handed the lady a 20, and I went, oh, holy fuck. It was like I had forgotten I'd taken the acid, and it hit me right there, and I was peeking in line, but I hadn't taken any drugs. I had been meditating. I had a binaural beats mixed with nature sounds program that I was using faithfully. It said, use it every day for 21 days and watch your life transform and you'll manifest everything you want. And I did it. Whoa, in that moment, though, I so regretted it. I was like, I can't uneat the candy bar. And, I'm standing in line, and I'm, holding the medicine. I'm holding the $20, and I'm looking at the lady, and I'm like, there's people in line, and I'm actually all around me, the products on the shelf, the candy bars, the hair dye, everything was buy me, buy me, buy me. All around you, they're marketing you. Every inch of that store, they're marketing you. But in that second that it happened, it was almost like I was seeing everything as it was, the truth of it. And it was frightening. It was so scary. I was angry because, first of all, I felt betrayed. But then, I was angry because it made me understand that most products and most food and most junk they're selling us is literal poison. And they know it. And they're laughing and getting wealthy and having good lives because they know it. And we don't. Anyways, from that day up until the day, no one can lie to me and I don't know it. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I might not even call you out on it. Kind of just depends on what's going on. The situation. But that is a side effect. Were many side effects. After the deconstruction, the descent, it was about 24 hours later when my ascension began. The ascent into heaven, into the fifth dimension, into the new reality of the new Christy. It showed up right as I was, okay, so I had been really nursing myself for 2 or 3 days. I didn't get out of bed much. I slept almost 3 days straight. I barely ate. My daughter forced me to drink water. I had some long distance Reiki healing from a lady on the other side of the world. And I just nurtured me. I was alone, except for my baby girl, my youngest daughter. And I had the luxury of it. So I just nurtured me for 4 days. And then she was like, let's go to a movie. And I was like, okay, great. Well, then at the last second, she couldn't go. She wants to go see her boyfriend. Whatever. Okay, I'll go. I'll call the one and only friend I have. And he just happened to be free. He also actually happened to be there in the Walgreens parking lot with me that day giving me a ride. So he knew what was going on with Christy, and he knew she would never shut up. And he knew how insane she was a few days ago. So I did not expect him to say yes. But I already had the tickets, and yeah, he was bored. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we went to go see the new, what's it called? A Wrinkle in Time, with the one that stars Oprah Winfrey. Now, I don't know if you've read the book or seen the original, but they have a tesseract that their father invents, and it's a time machine. And when you go somewhere in time, you tesser, okay? And so that's like the pop culture like memories that I had of it. I know I read it so long ago, though. Anyways, the moment I sat down, it was like the trigger went off again, just the same way it did in Walgreens, only this time it was the rising and the uplifting, and I was like, oh, getting excited. Like every line they said in the movie felt like it was written for me and my spirit, and I was literally, climactically embracing moments of grace, joy, laughter, and celebration throughout that movie. And I'm sure everyone in that theater was sick of me. I don't think I've enjoyed a movie ever as much as I enjoyed that one. And it was the perfect thing. It was like God was like, you know what? If she goes here during this part of this process, she will skyrocket to the top. She'll be a star. She'll be my top performer, and she'll never, ever hesitate to step into the fire or her courage to show the people how it's done. Because God knows me. He knows me so well. Sorry, I get emotional. My dad, my own father, passed away a few years back. So when I talk about God being my dad, I know he is. Because I know that the Most High and my dad are together now. So, anyways, I want to move into a little bit more of the healing, and I'm going to show you also. So, one of the things I told you before, I was into fairies and gnomes and elves and things like that. Well, that's because they're creatures of the earth that are in the unseen, and I personally actually have seen them, and I know how to see them again. That's how I know what I'm talking about. It's not bullshit, because I've had personal experiences with those in other dimensional realms. And I'm not saying you need to believe in fairies. What I'm saying is some people believe in fairies, some people believe in Bigfoot, some people believe in aliens and angels and demons. I particularly like the frequency of fairies. As a matter of fact, I am a fairy queen. I often relate to the world in which they live. They are light beings. That's why we can't see them. They're seventh dimensional. They are earth guardians. They are actually true earth angels. That combined with the elemental energies that they represent gives them a very diverse group of beings that is very protective of where they're at. They cannot allow other frequency beings to come there because it will infiltrate and distort their energy frequency, and their realm will drop in density. And so they are very, very much more protective of the seventh dimension than we are of the third, for sure. However, I know how to raise my frequency, and I am getting much better at it. And so each and every time I do that, I ask the fairies to show themselves or show me a version of me. What did I look like when I was a fairy light being? That kind of thing. And they are really good about just like magically letting me see it for a moment and then destroying any evidence I might have of it. Which has happened like 6 times. But anyways, that's beside the point. And so I just want you to understand why I feel like the winged things are important to remember. Because they have, first of all, they have a sense of style and fashion. They all love to match. Like, matchy, match, match. Like this one little fairy I saw one time, I had a picture of him. It got destroyed, but anyways. He was dressed all in yellow. And he wouldn't have been remarkable, and I wouldn't have caught him on camera had he not been covered in yellow. He even had yellow, like, face makeup on. Like, yellow, 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 all the way down from tip to toe. They love to match. I don't know if it helps them blend, but they're all out there in nature. If you're ever near a small body of water, out in the woods, and you're enjoying the quiet, get down and squat down on your knees. If you have your phone, get it out, zoom in. Don't look at what you're taking a picture of. Just zoom in at the water, or zoom in at the bank of the water, or just whatever, and start recording or taking photos without looking at what you're snapping pictures of. And you won't see anything in that moment. But if you're quiet and you are able to hold yourself still and not let your mind race with thoughts and just breathe and allow your camera to do the magic, when you get home and you go through it all, I promise you, you will have orbs, you will have fairies, you will have stuff. Proof of it in your phone. You have to really truly desire it, and you have to ask the fairies to come see you. They're kind of trickster. They kind of like to make jokes. They love to hide your car keys. Anything jingly or shiny. Honestly, they really dig things like aluminum foil balls. Who knew? Or, goofy sparkly things. They really admire them. It just turns them on. Anyways, they'll do anything for you if you are going to offer them a gift. They love when you leave them an offering. I actually found an actual, real, true fairy ring, which is, it's impossible. Okay, they're not supposed to exist, but they do. Like, it would be a perfect circle of something in nature that naturally just happened to be there. And for me, my first and only fairy ring was, we used to get, like, I lived in a basement apartment, and we get, like, real big wind gusts around the back of the house, where that was my entrance, was the back of the house, because it's the basement, right? And the wind gusts would just, like, swirl around on our porch. So there was always, like, a swirling eddy on our back porch, right? So it didn't surprise me when I had an old kitchen table sitting out there, too. It was a big one. I didn't have a way to get to the dumpster, so it was our outside table. And one morning I went out there after the kids had been outside playing in the woods and telling me how they saw the fairies and they left them an offering, and it was so awesome. And they came back to tell me about it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a cool day today. It's Saturday. The fairies came by. The kids are here. It's awesome, right? And go out there, and my jaw drops because I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like, I live in Missouri, and there's lots of leaves and there's lots of wind, but I've never in my life, in a perfect circle, seen a ring, literally looked like a giant donut, I want to say it was about 2 foot wide total. A perfect circle of leaves with a perfect inner circle. Like, it was a donut. So it was a circle inside a circle. It looked like a ring. Naturally. At first, I was like, what the fuck? How'd that happen? And then it dawned on me, it was a fairy ring. I was like, oh, I bet I know what it is. Anyhow, I kind of got a little closer to it because I was trying to take a picture. And it turns out there was the offering that the kids had given them out in the woods behind our house. Happened to be a little tiny little box of sun-made raisins. And now, of course, my kids don't know this, but fairies can make alcohol and wine out of raisins. And I'm sure that's what they did, because it looked like that box was laying on top of the fairy ring as though they were saying thank you for the wine. It was like they had a party and they wanted us to know they were grateful. And I was so happy to celebrate with them that day. Anyways, that's just a little bit of why I use the fairies to help me heal, because they are really good at cheering you up. And in such a dark world, we need all the light we can get. And here's another winged thing. This is the bluebird of happiness. I don't know why or where it came from. I happened to get this one after years of this symbol, the bluebird of happiness, just popping up in my life. I don't know the origin of it or the history of it. I just know it's a thing. And it's like a good luck charm, right? So, I don't know. Maybe somebody else can do the research on that and comment where you discovered the origin of the bluebird of happiness. But when I found this at the garage sale, I was like, totally mine. Treasuring this gift forever. It's been a great good luck charm. I got pregnant twice with it. And it goes well with my crystals. Anyways, keeps me in the energy of having wings. One of my magic names or nicknames, whatever you want to call it, was Mama Little Bird or Soaring Little Bird. And so the little bluebird of happiness is my friend. And then when I purchased those crows, those crystal crows, I happened to see this bird on sale too. And it was a tiny little, perfect little, I don't know what they call these. It's not very big either, obviously, see? But it's a special kind of a bird because it's all mixed glass of different kinds. I don't know if it's glass or crystals, what it is. There's a special kind of name for these things. And I don't know what it is, I forgot. But I love this little guy. And so this one is my new little happy bird. I got a new little happy bird. I know, I'm so goofy. So, you know, what I'm kind of doing, and if anybody out there wants to know how to do an energy healing session for themselves, find things that you love and you enjoy. Make an altar in front of you. I don't care where you make it. You don't even have to leave it up. Just put all your favorite tiny little things that you like to touch and play and look at. It doesn't have to be crystals. It doesn't have to be girly. Hell, it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be tiny, but I like tiny. It's easier for me to keep track of. It gives me a variety too. And just set it in front of you. Add some candles, your favorite crystals, things in front of you that you love. And play with your toys. God put us on this earth to enjoy life. Not just to sit around on toadstools and be boring. Heaven is boring. That's why we come here. Do you know how boring perfection is? Everything's perfect there. We come here because it's not perfect and we can have adventures and have fun and do cool stuff. So remember, this is the fun place. And get your toys out and play with them, okay? All right. Now, this is the actual crystal energy healing that we do. I first start out with my own opal lights. Now, I actually have a personal box. It's about 6-inch by 6-inch box of, I fill it with big self, little self crystals. So if I go to somewhere and I see they're selling crystals and I happen to see hearts or stars or whatever, I won't buy them unless they have a big one and a small one version, to remind me that there is always at least 2 versions of me that need to be honored and recognized. And so it's part of owning yourself and calling back in your power and becoming whole and being reunited with your inner child, with your inner being, with your innate, with your intuition, with your higher self. There's many versions of you, but the perfect visual image is the big and the little self. And then they come together. And so I play with my crystals. I'll arrange them in a shape, or I'll move them around, or I'll see which crystals they like to hang out with. I'll arrange them in a shape so that sometimes I can make sacred geometry out of them, depending on the shape of the crystal. You don't have to follow anyone's map on a crystal grid. Just make it look beautiful and symmetrical. Remember, with crystals, symmetry is important. Making a grid anyways, because it's that allowing the flow of energy to go moving through them, and the inspiration of the colors and the directions and the shapes and the turns. they speak to a part of you that doesn't have to think about it, that just feels the difference when you're around high vibrational crystals and energies. And so one of the things that I made sure that I bought to go in my stuff here, I love opalite, so I've got a lot of opalite, but the most high frequency crystal that I believe you can buy is called kyanite. Kyanite. And it looks kind of like, they're little flakes. You can buy bigger, like, pieces of it, because I bought it in a cheaper version of it, so it's like all broken up. But it's shiny. It looks like it's got silver in it, and it's blue and white. And if you don't have the ability to cheer yourself up or raise your frequency, or dance or play some music or something to get out of that state of complaining, kyanite crystal is your friend. It will every time make you feel uplifted. Like right now, I just want to dance. I've got too much of it in my hands, so I'm putting back in a dish. But I happen to have like so many different kinds of crystals that I can play with, and I know their meaning and what frequency they're emitting, and so that helps to show others how it's working for me. I don't heal you. I activate the healer within you. I'm a catalyst. I'm a way shower, a shadow walker, a starseed. I am a tower, a walking tower moment. So I might as well be giving people positive outlook instead of one of destruction, right? We're going to transform, not die and be reborn. Okay, well, same thing, but, some people like softer words. Anyhow, I have, like I said, different versions of the opalite. So I have the big and the little, and then I have, like, 30 of these little baby teeny tiny ones. So I'll arrange them all, like, in a shape. And I'll remember each and every part of myself that I've ever forgotten about. A memory that was good or bad, that was me. And it goes in that heart. And that heart transmutes that energy for me. It makes it positive, and it works for me. And tomorrow I'll have more abundance because of it. And I just keep going all the way through all my hearts. And I put a little memory or a little tiny piece of myself within each one of my hearts. And what it does, that's symbolic for calling back in your energy again, becoming whole again, and also radical self-acceptance in the present moment. Forgiveness and compassion for yourself first. Honoring the pain that you're experiencing in that moment first. And allowing the heartbeat of the mother and the heartbeat of you to expand. I like to put the crystal sometimes just on me, and it feels good to lay it on me. Wherever or however. I sometimes will get my chakra crystals out and lay them down my chakras. Just lay there. Because these guys, I am really sensitive to it. If I hold it in my hand like this, and I empty my mind of all thoughts, and I just say, I want to feel you. I can feel the vibration of this crystal frequency. I can feel it. And it's real. You can measure it with scientific instruments. It's a thing. All right, so that brings me into the unified self, the whole self. I am the best version of me now. I am whole. I am holy. I am wholeness. Then I will take out two very specific crystals. Many people work with different versions that do the same, that have the same properties, but this is, I believe, the most common and the most effective for a real world. Oh, whoa. Sorry, I'm trying to, one moment. Okay, here we go. For a real world experience, an experiential crystal energy healing. Like, I can feel it when I use these crystals. Other people have other crystals that they like to use because they feel it. And I am not here to judge. So, if you need to do the research, do the research. If you want to just trust me that the ones I'm about to use are the best versions for this kind of healing, cool. If not, you are stuck in your ways like I am, you can use whatever crystal you want. But you have to remember the concept so that you have that same intention with whatever crystal you're using. So I use selenite because selenite is actually an energy cleanser of all crystals. It's a great crystal to have amongst all your other crystals. It will clean energetic and debris and junk off of and keep all your other crystals clear and in their natural state. So you always want to have plenty of selenite around. It's a very pure high frequency. It's not as pleasant as kyanite though. It can be radical. So that's why we use it for healing, and also use it on every surface that I do a reading of any kind if I'm using tools for someone. And then that pair it up with my black tourmaline. Now, it's kind of a little more expensive to buy one like this. It's this big that kind of like goes with my selenite, but it's kind of important that I understand what each one of them is doing. So if you think about what you're wearing on a hot day in the summer and the colors, if you're wearing white, it reflects the light. If you're wearing black, it absorbs it. Anybody who's ever worked outside knows this. Works the same way. Selenite and black tourmaline. Black tourmaline transmutes. Selenite cleanses. I'm just going to pull out all that negativity, things that are distorting your energy body, all that no longer serves you, so that you can move into your own DNA system and activate it. Just tap that button on the inside of you. And those little baby angels, I call them the angels. Okay, I have a 5-year-old granddaughter who lives with me, and she's just learning about invisible things like germs. I call them angels, they're not demons. Anyways, kids say the darndest things. And so those little creatures inside of you, when you put touch that button in your DNA, and you activate it, and you say, I activate my own innate healing abilities, you will be very, very shocked at some of the results you might be able to get. But you have to have a spark of belief and a great imagination. I've seen it. I even have evidence of it. I have so much proof of it. Over the phone, a mother called me. I was in the thick of having lots and lots of clients doing healings and readings every day. And this mother called me, and she'd been my client for a while, and so I knew her really well. And I knew her son, too. He was my client as well. He was 19 when this happened. She called me from the emergency room, and she was scared to death. She said, I think he's going to die. I don't know if I'm in the right hospital. These doctors don't understand what's happening. We're vegetarians. I need your help. What can you do? And I thought, in the back of my mind, I thought, you're calling me a psychic healer you met on Facebook from the other side of the country. You're in she's in Pennsylvania, in one of the most state-of-the-art hospitals in the country. And she called me. And I am so honored and privileged today to say that both the mother and that son are doing very well. He made a 98% recovery back into his life eventually. But that night in the emergency room was very scary. And he had a very challenging few years after that to get his body weight back. But he had something rupture. I believe it was an aneurysm of something from over-exercising. He had been a vegetarian for a long time, strained his body in sports, bicycled, ran, was training for a triathlon or something. I'm not sure exactly. And his pelvic aorta ruptured. It's like a stroke at 19. What's really crazy is just a few years prior to that, my best friend and business partner, he was 65 years old, and his pelvic aorta ruptured. He went in for surgery and never came home. He was there in the intensive care for 8 weeks, and I had to go in and tell him to take him off the machines. So here's God in my life again, right? And it was just me and Patrick's mother on the phone, talking to ourselves, talking to God. I kept asking her questions about the doctor and what she felt inside herself. Because, no one does that. Not a nurse, not a doctor. They don't say, how is your heart feeling right now? What do you think about right now is going on in your body? How are you feeling? Tell us how you feel about your circumstances and what brought you in here. They don't do that. They save your life as fast as they can. And most of the time they give you medicine to make you pass out and shut up. They would definitely do that to me. But that night, Patrick lost. He lost a great majority of his colon. He had about this much left when it was said and done. Luckily, he was a vegetarian. So he wouldn't have to change or adjust his eating habits too much. But then eventually they did actually have to implement some protein back and meat back into his diet because he just was not being able to gain weight back. He had gone from like 220 at 6'4" down to like 170, 160. He was just skin and bones. And they were saving his life. They were doing all these things. And his mom was very protective and very specific about, the way they treated him. And I would just, help keep her calm and everything. And then it came time for us we were being called to do something about it, to do healing right in that moment. Because they had taken a blood test of Patrick and it was showing there was an infection, and they did scans and ultrasound and everything, and they could not find the infection until it dawned on them. They realized then that they believed they had found the infection and that it was behind his heart, and that they were going to have to crack his chest open and do open heart surgery in order to clean out this infection. There was no other way of avoiding it, to get it out. That's what they were going to have to do. And Patrick was petrified. His mother was scared to death. So was I. He had his fever was spiking in that moment. We were all suddenly just really starting to stress out. They had tests to prove that this was a thing. And we all thought this was a bad idea. We don't want, no. The Most High God does not want you to crack open this baby boy's chest. He's too young. There's no reason for it. This is not an infection. This is his body's reaction to the life-saving surgery he had a couple of hours ago. And he's going to be fine. He does not have to have his chest cracked open at 19 years old. There's not an infection behind his heart. He is a whole, healthy young man. And he's recovering already and healing himself already in this moment. And I stopped with my little rant there, and I took her into a moment of peacefulness, and I said, remember what he looked like the moment they put him in your arms? Right after he came out of the womb, he was screaming, and they smack his little butt. They make sure he's breathing, and they wrap him up in a little blanket, and they lay him on your chest. And you look at this little perfect little being. There is nothing wrong whatsoever with this piece of art that God has granted you. It's perfect. It came to you perfect, and you made it. You created it. And it's perfect. Remember Patrick like that all the time. Think of Patrick as being born a perfect creation, a child of the Most High God, all day, every day, whole, healed, and healthy. He's not sick. He's not in an emergency. He has no infections. He has no fever. He has no illnesses. He is an athlete. If he ever does get injured, he comes back with a fierceness and performs even better. And I gave her that little sacred container, space to be in with me, and that energy of imagination. And then we put Patrick on the phone, who happened to be awake because he did not want to have the surgery either. And he was really weak. And I could just hear in his voice that he was willing to entertain anything I had to say. So I gave him a little similar speech pep talk, and then he proceeded to tell me that he had already been visited by his guardian angel, and that he felt safe, and that he trusted that God was coming to him through me and his mom, and that we were going to heal him, and that he was not going to have that surgery. He just already had known it. And I don't know if it was because Patrick's belief, because he really does believe in angels, and he really does talk about them, seeing them, and going hanging out in the woods with them, and they're just, he has encounters a lot, before and after the incident. So, and it's very rare to find a young man so spiritually and open to think like that. So it was profound to me, and it was very profound to his mom too. I think it helped her to stop being such an overbearing, controlling like type mom, and just to relax a little and let her son live a little bit and give him his own free will to choose what he's going to eat and what he's going to exercise. I think they all began slowly to understand that the expectations that he had put on himself had gotten him into this situation, and that these high expectations weren't necessary to live a happy, beautiful life. That just living, was all he was ever going to be expected to do again. And we all just I fell in love with the kid. I fell in love with their family. They just embraced me. I helped them get through another couple of really challenging moments in their life. And I know the power of the mind and the high frequency of crystals can change everything. I am a certified Reiki healer, master. And then not long after that, I was activated into quantum Reiki. Let's just say it's instantaneous. In this moment, you've already been activated and you're already healed. You may go through symptoms of whatever it is that has been broken in the past. But right here, right now, in this moment, you are perfect. You are whole. You are holy. You are wholeness. You are perfection. You are a child of the Most High God. All day, every day. And you're never alone. And you're in my tribe. So we'll take out one last little thread of doubt. And you remember who you are. Okay, so for all my women, and if there's any kids out there right now, the next crystal healing situation is the two most powerful healing crystals that there are. In all the spectrum of crystals, these two specifically were designated to heal women and children trauma. Originally, this intention was put upon them by folks who were helping people recover from major natural disasters, and they were using both amethyst and rose quartz. Oh, amethyst and rose quartz. They're very good at, they kind of go to the core of wherever your trauma is and activate your body's natural healing abilities and help to keep that energy in motion and moving so that you can expel what no longer serves you and regenerate, regrow, rebirth the things that will make you stronger as you become your own walking prayer. Okay? So specifically, amethyst looks purple. I love this obelisk. It's really good for Reiki. And then so these are polished amethyst raw. So they were raw, and then they polished them. They didn't cut them. They didn't give them facets, because that's why this is so transparent, is because it was a giant piece and then they cut it. So these were raw amethyst that were polished. And they kind of look like these little sticks. So they're darker, and they remind me of also the grounding energy, like a deep-rooted color, okay? And these are very specifically coming for distortion in your energy field that is a negative repeating loop. Most commonly, any kind of addictive thought, addictive behavior, a person who's addictive to you, an addictive personality, you need to have a lot of amethyst with you and around you. This will help you break those loops. I find it very good for helping you change your mindset. I find it very good to have it surrounding me all the time, because when I wake up and I see it, it reminds me that I'm already taking care of myself. I'm already doing self-care and loving me and choosing me first. Already. Because these things are alive. They vibrate. They're in motion, just like everything else. And then I move on to the rose quartz. And again, I have the big and the little. And you might be able to see the pink. It's hard to see the pink. Pink. It's pink. So pink and purple. Yay, girls. This is why ladies love pink and purple. No, it's not. I don't know why. I just thought of that one day. Anyhow. So, I use this often to I activate my body's natural ability to end negative repeating patterns. Negative repeating thought patterns and loops in my life that I no longer need, that do not protect me or serve me. They're taking away from the contentment that I have in my life, so I eradicate them. I toss them out. It does not feel like you're doing anything playing with rocks in that moment. It can be really profound sometimes, but sometimes it's just you playing with rocks. And then you feel silly, like, why am I doing this? Well, because it has residual effect. Energy healing is not like conventional medicine. It accumulates. It's a part of you. It is you. It's a version of you. There's nothing that is not love. So energy healing itself is a transfer, a communication of energy and motion between humans. And when you go in and you look at traumas and you face pain and you do your shadow work and you uplift yourself, you don't want to carry those loops anymore. You're done with them. And sometimes we can't really cognitively figure out which it is that's holding us back at the moment. And so crystal and energy healing is a very, very great option to reach for. Also, real sea salt baths, very powerful, will clear your mind, and you will come out of that bath with a whole new perspective on life if you treat it as sacred. Drinking lots and lots of water, getting as much sleep as you can when you're having so-called ascension symptoms or healing crisis symptoms. Just water's your friend, okay? And you're not drinking enough, so go get a glass right now. Just kidding. I have another great story to tell you about my rose quartz one of these days. It's a little long-winded. We're already into this an hour, so these go to the inner child. Energy of the rose quartz goes into the heart of the child inside you, who is perfect through the eyes of an unconditional, loving, all-knowing, heavenly source, most high God. We are his children, and we are perfect exactly as he created us. It is the mind that can take us away from our innate knowledge and understanding of how to heal ourselves. But we can do it. It takes a lot of focus and a lot of practice. And to be honest, I could use more crystals. I'm one of those people. I like to feel it and see it and touch it. I actually have a set of those crystal healing bowl sound things. It's coming. It might be March before they get here, but I'm getting them. They used to be like $4,200, then they dropped down to like $1,200, and I got mine several years later. Finally, I'm getting mine for $350. So there isn't nothing like a healing from one of those things. It shifts your whole reality. It shows you who you are and what you're really worth, and it makes you ask, why the fuck did I stay stuck so long? But, that was the past version of you. You can't judge yourself anymore. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to quit. You're not allowed to judge yourself. So, I want to encourage you also to go hug your mom if you're a kid. She probably needs your hug too. If you're just an older woman like me and you miss your mom sometimes, just give her a hug. Tell her, I miss you, Mama. Thank you so much for taking good care of me. I know it was crazy, and I know you didn't always do the right thing, but you tried your best with everything you could. And I know that, and I love you for that, and I respect you for that. Thank you, Mom. See, some of those wounds we have, we don't even have a memory of them. They get trapped and stuck in your body, in your electromagnetic system. Sometimes it just needs a reset. Sometimes that's human touch. Sometimes it's playing with rocks. And with that, I'm going to give you guys a simple plaque, it's a quote, but I found this at a garage sale. I'm always doing this. Just like a random garage sale will have this weird old 70s quote framed, and I have to buy it. I don't know why. Every one of them is very profound though, and I love them. So this one, somebody's gonna have to tell me who it is, because it's not signed. It says, it's very beautiful. Anyways, it says, what lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. You can take that in so many ways, especially since I was all about talking about truth and lies earlier, being a human lie detector now. But it also speaks to why we have to love ourselves first, because we are the most important being in our life. And if we don't love ourselves radically and accept who we are, how can we ever love anyone else? Because that's where pure unconditional love comes from. Right there. And the only place you can create it is within your own heart. You can get it from God. And you can get it from here. You can't get it from anywhere else. So stop looking for love in all the wrong places. Go inside yourself. Love yourself today. And remember, we are tribe.